it's just a complete everyone I talk to, I'm like, this is just insane. This is just
Yeah.
like what's the term? Not property. This is like untouched like ground
Uncharted
or
waters. Yeah, uncharted
yeah, like
territory. Yeah,
I've never been here before, so it's just crazy.
that's
So
awesome, man. It seems like you're really excited to just keep growing the business from here, which is awesome.
yeah, I tell people the same thing. I'm like, yeah, man, I've used people in the past, but I don't know what this guy is doing. It's just crazy. It's crazy insane. Like I don't know. Like it's yeah. So it's yeah. It's like something would have to like my wife and I always talked about it, and like I could have done detailing until my last day or something, and we would
Mhm.
have been maybe still getting by, and she would have been fine with it. I would have been fine with it, but like yeah, this is like completely like wow, I actually, have a business. Like it's great. Like that's kind of the mindset I have because it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, making around 4,200 last week is it's like,
Oh, that was last week.
yeah, that was last week. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome, man. You
Yeah.
crushed
And
it.
then a week before it was like, I don't know the exact numbers, but close to that. So it's like, it's just, yeah, it's nuts.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I think it's definitely time to hire some help then, because like I said, we're spending $40 a day. We can definitely ramp it up to 50, 60. Just keep going from there. Okay, awesome. So yeah, I guess I'll just kick it off. So I'm here, Jason. I'm here with my good client Kurt, one of my best clients, best hairdo for sure. And just wanted to interview you, Kurt, about a little bit about your results so far, what's been your experience working with me, etc. So usually a good place to start is if you can just give people like a really quick background about your business, what you do, and then sort of like where you were before you started working with me, and then
Yeah.
what have the results been like so far.
Okay.
Hmm?
So right now,
Yeah, go right ahead whenever you're ready.
oh, cool, cool, cool. So do you want me to like introduce myself and the company and everything?
I mean, it doesn't have to be like super long. So just Kurt from KG Auto Detail. Like, what were
Okay.
your results when we first started, before we started
Okay.
working with me, and then what have been the results since we started working together?
Perfect.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah. So Kurt with KG Auto Detail Company, and I've been mobile detailing for about 20 years. And I'm in Orange County, California. So it's a saturated market, but a good market for auto detailing. And I probably the last 3 or 4 years I started marketing in general. I think I tried some Google stuff, that was decent, nothing crazy. And then after that, I probably did Google face. I mean, I'm sorry, I did Facebook ads with two other people. I mean, nothing crazy. I think I got my money back, but nothing more than that. And then tried like the whole landing page, getting leads and getting a landing page decent. Got my money back, but nothing more than that. And then I met Jason. I want to say now, like maybe around 2 3 months ago, and Facebook ads, same deal. And it's really turned my business around
Wow.
crazy amounts, like insane. Like I've in 20 years of detailing, I've never, I haven't experienced. This is like uncharted territory for me. I've never experienced anything like this as far as like the income, as far as traffic. And it's made me think of what do I need to do now to handle everything myself. So whether it's a helper, whether it's another employee, because I do ceramic coatings. The Facebook leads are targeting ceramic coatings, and so that's what's been obviously growing a crazy amount. And then obviously I still do detailing, and I have all my maintenance clients. So just now I have the opportunity to even think about growing, expanding, even thinking about getting a helper, an employee. And so and not and just being full transparent, not having to look at my bank accounts and seeing if I can. Even when I met Jason, I was um I still have to be like, oh well, I can't afford this right now, but we can give it a shot. And
Mhm.
so not even having to look at my bank account or even thinking like, oh, can we afford this? Like it's just done a 180 on everything as far as business, finances. When I met, obviously you, Jason, we were having crazy weather out here, and for us, Orange County, like the littlest of rain is people act like it's there's a tsunami outside. It's just people. No one wants to get their cars done. And last year was like a record year as well. So that was another, yeah. So from last year and then this year, it definitely, this year is not as bad as last year, but it was still affecting us. And so, yeah, so this has completely changed like everything, outlook, mindsets, every aspect I can think of. So yeah. And I tell people, like, I've done Facebook ads before. And like I said, they were average at best. And I don't know what you do different. I don't know what the tweakings you do. I don't know all the analytics of it all, but whatever you did different, like it's insanely made a huge impact in my life as a business, but then to get more personal, like in my family's life, like it's just changed everything. It's insane. So
yeah, in your family's life, like changed in what way?
Well, unfortunately, the only unfortunate part is I'm definitely working a lot more, but that's a good thing because sometimes, different things outweigh others. So like, I would rather be and still like, there's families out there where the dad has to go on business trips for 2 to 3 days. So that's obviously not the case, but yes, working a lot more. But having the, that reassurance that, bills are paid, we can, whatever, like food, I can go out and buy ceramic coatings. I can go buy chemicals and rags and just stuff for the business. Like the stuff that I bought in the last few months for the business, like little things, but like a $300 blower, like what else? There's just things I can't think of off the top of my head, but that I don't have to think about, like, because I know money's coming in, like, at home, another, just being transparent, like I said, having to look at the bank account. Oh, can we get this? And by no means were we like, we live in Orange County, California. Like we have a mortgage, like, we have a nice car. Like we're not like, we weren't like, living, we weren't like slumming it or anything, but like, you're living tight, maybe I don't have a paycheck, but the term paycheck to paycheck, so to speak. And now it's like, we don't live crazy, but now we just don't have to look at our bank accounts, or we don't have to, still there's, we still have bills and all that stuff. But like, so it's changed in that way. I'm working more, but like, when you don't have that monkey on your back, so to speak, where you're just like, someone canceled and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I make this up? I call it going fishing. Like, and every detailer does it. Like maybe you have a gap in your week and like you send out texts, right? And like, oh cool, this person bought, this person bit, that person bit that, and then your day is set, right? But oh yeah, I didn't mention, so the fact that I don't have to do that, and I'm 3 to 4 weeks booked out is insane. Like I tell people, people that I can be transparent to and honest with, like in 20 years, I've never been 3 to 4 weeks out. Like it's insane. Usually you talk to other detailers, they're like, yeah, I'm a week out, 2 weeks out, which is good. That's not bad at all. But 3 to 4 weeks is just insane. And it's all ceramic coatings, so
yeah, Alex,
and I get paranoid sometimes because I have to fit in my maintenance people. And I don't miss out on that, but like it's majority. I'm just trying to reiterate, it's majority like ceramic coatings.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I know that's definitely a really good story. A lot of detailers, I'm sure, out there can relate to that, kind of living like, quote unquote paycheck to paycheck. Like what kind of peace of mind has it brought you now that you don't have to live that way anymore? Like how has that changed things for you?
It's like we're just able to, I don't even if I could, I can't think of any crazy example. Like, well, you know what? I bought a boat last week. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. It's just the fact that it could be as simple as like, oh, the car payment is coming up this week. We got to make sure to, and don't get me wrong, like it's still, I'm not at the level where I can just like, let's take 2 weeks off and go somewhere. It's not there yet. But the fact that, I can pay like, I can pay for the ads. I can pay, I can pay Jason. I can pay the shop fee. I can pay, whatever else. We can fill up the gas. At one point, we're like, oh, let's just put $25 in the gas tank today. We can fill it up. We can, we're big on like healthy food, right? So we go to Costco, and that's a good $300 to $400. So we just don't. It's the fact that you don't have to check that bank account. You don't have to, we can go on Amazon. Oh, we need a air purifier for the house because it's allergies. We have 2 little kids. Let's go get let's go get that, or let's, just little things like that. It's like I said, if I'm glad, whether we have money or don't have money, like we're not frivolous spenders. Like we just, we don't clothes shop. We don't, I can't even think of it. We don't go out to eat. So like we're just not restaurant people. So it's nothing like that. It's just like we can pay our bills with a peace of mind. We can, if I need to get something, instead of like maybe in the past, I would have to buy, let's say a coating job, all in all with rags, with towels, I should say, coatings, maybe some pads for polishing, maybe I'd put it on a credit card, and then would be like, oh, let's put it back on the credit card. But when we get paid for the coating job. But I think this past last week, I think I spent like $300 on material, and I can do that with ease because I know work's coming in. It's little things like that. I don't know if that answers your question completely.
Yeah, so kind of just like being able to swipe the card without worrying as much, without having that kind of anxiety weighing on your shoulders when you're doing it, right?
Right. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And the weather plays a big part in it. Like, like I would tell like my sister, oh, it's gonna, just for some reason during conversation, oh, it's gonna rain next week, and people were like, oh, I didn't even know, but like. We would be, my wife and I would be like really committed weather watchers because it would just unfortunately it would affect the business. So that was another aspect of it too. Thankfully we have weather here, but even when we still had rain coming in like maybe, I don't know, a month ago or something, and still business with coatings, I think people, they don't mind maybe, as opposed to someone that's going to get their car washed that day, they're spending $100, as opposed to someone that's going to get their car coated. That's what the coating's for, so just different things like that. Yeah. Like looking at the weather, but no, if we know things are booked, like I said, 3 to 4 weeks booked out, maybe you see a rough patch of weather, or maybe your bank account's fine. We're still fine. Even though, let's say there is 2 days of rain, it's fine. It's not like it's going to affect the whole week, as if to maybe, what if I wasn't booked out much that in advance? What if the bank account wasn't how it is right now, and we saw those 2 days rain, it would really screw up everything, so to speak. So the having that being booked out 3 to 4 weeks, having that income that we have now, it just makes everything in general, just a lot smoother. So
that's awesome. And when you say income, I know it can be a little bit hard to track just because things have been really crazy. We've been having a ton of jobs coming in, but do you have a rough idea of like how much like we're generating in terms of revenue, in terms of booking on like a weekly or monthly basis? Just like a rough idea.
Yeah, so I would say so before, I would say, and people might think, I thought this was decent still.
Mm-hmm.
I think a bad week for me would be like, 1,800, or let's just say 15 to 1,800. That would be like a bad week. And then a good week, like I can remember like maybe last year summertime, like a good week was 2,200, or let's just say $2,000 to 2,500 the most.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still like 2,500. I think a lot of people would take that. That's 10 grand a month. That's amazing, right? That's but that wasn't consistent at all, so especially with weather. But now, like last week, I think, or the end of this past week, I think 4,200.
Yeah.
And then I think the week before, I mean, it must have been at least 35 to 4, 500 to $4,000 again. So if you figure that, you figure, let's say, and I do that specifically at my CRM and kind of calculate all that stuff, but let's say you're at $4,000 times 4, that's 16 grand a month. Like, that's insane. Like, that's absolutely insane. So it's so that's the kind of growth that I'm kind of, that I've been experiencing. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome, brother. And that's without, hiring any employees just yet. The road is we're still going to keep growing, for sure. Cool. Yeah, so that's in terms of the results, but also what's it just been like experience wise, like working with me, the relationship, the communication back and forth, like how has that been for you?
Yeah, so that's been really, really good. I've always been very easygoing. Like I'm not. I like communicating. I like to have a relationship, even with work. I'm just a heart of my sleeve type of person. So by no means were my past relationships with guys, they weren't bad. They were actually they were fine. They weren't bad. They did their job. Communication was fine. Then what I experienced differently with you was, and I've told people this, like just the professionalism, of course,
Oh, really?
and the relationship is great. Like Jason's you're a wonderful, nice person. You're kind. Yeah, I don't even know you that well. You could be the same type of person, maybe just emotionally, you're maybe outspoken, or you kind of tell it how it is. But so I like that being just personal. Um, and then also like the professionalism. So, like what I noticed at first, like after our first conversations, was like you'll send out like a video briefing of what we discussed, or just like documents of what we discussed in like bullet form. And then and that I've never experienced that before. Like I've had conversations with people, and like people that I've worked with doing ads for me, and like never like the recap that you do, or even um like let's say an ad is not performing well or something. I won't know that you're doing it at the time, but then you'll obviously hit me up and say, hey man, the ads weren't kind of performing like I wanted them to, so I went ahead and whatever, took one down, did one back up, you tweaked something, all that stuff. So yeah, the professionalism is, because that's how even though I still think I could take my business to another professional level, grabbing emails, all that stuff. I still like things very structured, and I believe that kind of stuff goes a long way with me. Like because I think things can maybe get chaotic, and like maybe I'm running around with like chicken with the head cut off, but like then you lay everything out structurally, and like what we're doing, and then that just makes everything like what I get it when people say like oh, I could, you can learn SEO on your own, you can learn Facebook ads on your own. I get that, but then imagine if I had all the work that I had to do, contacting leads, doing the work, getting ready for your day, and then having to like tweak leads, do this, do that. Like it'd be like a recipe for disaster. So what you do as far as like how you do it with the leads, then the follow up with the professionalism, and all the structured you know how you lay everything out, like what's going to happen, what we discussed, yeah, all that kind of makes a big difference. So
I appreciate that, brother. That feedback is actually super helpful. I'll make sure to continue that kind of communication in the future moving forward.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess the last thing would just be like, obviously you've tried out some other marketers, some other agencies in the past, and the results have been, not bad, not good, but just kind of not where you were hoping it would be. So for
Right.
other people that are also kind of, maybe they've tried out some other agencies in the past, some other marketers in the past, they're thinking about potentially working with me. They're kind of on the fence. They're not sure. I guess, what would you say to a person in that situation? What kind of advice would you offer them?
I am a I question it a lot.
No.
Like, even that's why I'm in business, because I never did good in school. I never did good having a regular, like a real job, whatever you want to call it. Like I don't do good with authority. Um, which is a good thing. It's not really a bad thing. So I question a lot. I can be skeptical. Just and as a detailer, you do get emails. Oh, hey, can you guys handle 10 extra coatings a month? You know, and I think that's how so you get that stuff coming into you, and you just like you talk to some, maybe you try some out. Anyways, so then I met Jason, and you're still like, okay, it's especially, and I haven't even done much. I'm sure maybe other guys, maybe they've done more. So, and I'm like, okay, what does he what does he have to offer? And like, I don't know why I'm like, okay, let's try it.
Uh,
As skeptical as I am, as like, like I said, I've only experienced Facebook ads 2 other times. Maybe people have done it even more. And so I would just say like, you know, give give Jason a shot because he knows what he's doing. Like, I don't know how he like I don't know how he does it. It's yeah, but that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, just and this is coming from someone like I don't even I'm not like I'm making a lot more money. I'm not I would we all would love to grow more and more. Everyone should have the aspiration to grow. Um but like I don't like even to this day, I don't like to really spend money. Like I will go to the detail shop and if I can pinch pennies somewhere, like if I don't that's just who I am, unfortunately. Like I think when you're a business owner, you're like, oh, where can I save money? Do I really need this? Do I really need this? And like maybe you need it, but you're still like, I can manage. So I'm that guy. I don't want to spend money. Like I don't like it. So like, but Jason was super willing to work with me as far as like, finances and like letting me try him out before anything was even spent besides ad spend, daily ad spend. So that alone is like he was basically telling me like, look, just try me out first. Let's see what I can do for you, and then let's go from there. And that and then obviously how he works with you and the type of person he is. If it was someone that was just like you know mechanical and no personality, no like you know relaying to you that he cares about you and like your situation and he really wants you to grow. If it was just someone just like going through the script, and that would have been different. But like the whole chemistry and everything combined, like so I would say, man, like yes, give Jason a shot. He's going to seriously, he will go to bat for you. Like he will try to get like the best, because he wants to succeed too. Like if I'm succeeding, that means he is, and if I'm not, that means he's not doing his job. And I'm sure he's not going to feel good about that. So, everyone has to win. And that's the one thing that I've experienced from the beginning is like we've just been winning together. So
yeah.
that's the only way it works. So
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. Okay, cool, man. I
yeah.
mean, so part of it, yes, is I'm doing my job on the back end, but part of it's also just, you're a really good client too. Like you've been crushing it on the phones. And
Yeah.
I know at the beginning, like we started off and it was not bad at all. Like it was still decent, but these past like few weeks, few months, like you've been absolutely crushing it, like booking jobs left and right. So I think it'd also be really helpful just for like some tactical takeaways. Like what were some of the things that you changed that helped you A, book in a lot more jobs? Like what were the biggest needle movers? And B, if you could also offer some advice for people how you upsell people from, the 3-year coding or the spray on coding into the 5-year. That'd be really helpful as well.
Yeah, so I tell people this too when it comes to whether it's face to face detail clients or whether it's people on the phone. And I say this kind of proudly, and then again, like maybe I lack a little bit, but I'm not a salesperson. Like I don't like salespeople, and I'm not a salesperson. And so when I get leads, this does make a difference, I must say. But like, and I've heard Jason say it, and then as well as some coaching that he's had me listen to, that getting the lead and calling them right away, it's it's a big factor because of two reasons. Is one of the reasons is I've gotten feedback from people, and like if they click on our lead, like if they click on my lead, unfortunately the algorithm
Mm.
hits them up and they start getting all these leads. And like the people that don't know what they're even looking for, they're gonna fall for like 10 years, $400, and then they'll relay it back to me, and I just have to tell them like, look, so actually kind of that kind of coincides into what, so I'm not a salesperson, and then so that's one. So calling the lead right away, like as much as I am like kind of defiant and yeah, don't tell me what to do, like that's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
Like you whether, and obviously if it's 10 o'clock at night, 5 in the morning, you know, and I've kind of discussed that with you, you know, and the best thing to do is maybe text or wait till the morning or whatever. So but yeah, if it's from, you know, that 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. type of deal, like, yeah, call right away. I've gotten people just texting them at 9, 8, 9 at night, like, oh, hey, is this such and such? And they'll respond. Maybe that's their end of the day where they're like sitting down and they're on their phone. And then I've had people like, oh, I can talk now. And so I'll hit them up. And I've closed them because, you know, they're, you know, whatever. Thankfully, they haven't talked to anyone else or whatever the case is. So yeah, calling them as soon as you get the lead. And then for me, it's just natural. Like maybe it's the, like I said, the heart of my sleeve type of personality, but I just talk to them like I'm talking to Jason, like I'm talking to a friend. And then I don't try to be salesy. I'll just say, hey man, this is Kurt with KJ Out of Detail. If they have a few minutes, I'm like, yeah, man, I just kind of ask you, you know, I like to start with 2 questions. You know, what car do you have? You know, what car did you want to possibly get coded? And then do you have a clear understanding of what codings do? And then if they have a few minutes, I actually tell them, I'm like, well, I take a lot of pride in educating the customer. I really want you to understand what you're getting. And then I kind of lay out, and a lot of people will be like, no, I don't really know exactly what they are. I just saw your video. And so I just explain, yeah. So, you know, car washes do this. If you get a coating, you know, they can protect it. And then what I do is typically, like, we have an ad right now running for it's either a 1 or a 2 year. So I tell them my prep is, like, I was mentioning this to Jason the other day, and it kind of works. I said my prep, and I do believe this, as because you do hear things about what detailers do. They'll wash the car and they'll put a coating on, or they'll wash the car, clay it, put a coating on. And I tell these people, I'm like, look, regardless if you get a 1-year coating or a 5-year coating with me, my prep is always the same, because the prep process is going to determine how good the coating looks. And so I said, you know, my coating is my prep process is, you know, whatever, wash, clay, polish, right? And I tell them, and I go more into detail of what each process does. You know, it's not really rocket science. You know, wash, paint, decon is claying, and then a polish is a polish. And then, but when they hear me say, regardless if it's a 1 or a 5-year, you know, my prep is always the same. And then they'll ask, oh, well, how much is a 5-year? And then that's when I'll be like, oh, well, you know, the 2-year coating is going to be $495, basically $500. And then I'm like, the 5-year starts at $800. And then, you know, typically they're like, oh, well, then for $300 more, I'll just get 5 years. And then that's typically how, you know, and I personally, I gauge $100 an hour. So for that 2-year coding, typically it can take me about 5-6 hours max. And, you know, that's $500. And then even on a 5-year coding, that's around $800-900. It's still going to take me like 6 hours, you know, nothing crazy. So, and then I just, honestly, I don't know if it's like, oh yeah, everyone does that, but maybe not. Maybe a lot of people are very salesy and structury and maybe too serious, but you know, and then I send them out. I tell them, hey man, you know, whether they book or not, I send them 3 links. I always send everyone 3 links. It's just my website, Google reviews, and my Instagram, which shows my work. And I tell people, I'm like, hey man, I want you to know who I am. I want you to know who's doing your car. I want you to see my work. And so I'll send those 3 links. And it's kind of weird, but, and I tell this with maintenance people, like, yes, I want you to get your car done. My work does matter, but at the same time, I kind of want to build a relationship. Like, it's either whether it's car washers or ceramic coating people, detailers, some are just going to come to your car and leave. But like, I think a lot goes into like, yeah, man, you know, don't wash your car for 2 weeks. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'm here for you. And that's what I tell people. And I think that goes a long way. I just had a guy come in yesterday, his hood wasn't beating up like he wanted it to. And I think I did his car last year. I said, just come in. There's no paperwork, right? There's no warrant. There's nothing like that. I just said, come in. And we've developed kind of a relationship. I said, come in. I'll just do it again real quick. So I just dry washed his hood, did a quick clay, did a quick polish, and I recoated his hood, right? So, and that's going to go a long way, whether he comes back with another car, whether he tells people, like, so I'm a big believer in just talking to people like they're a human, talking to people like you're a human and not a robot, and then just developing that relationship. Like, yes, you want to close them, right? Whether it's $500, whether it's $1,000, but just treat them like a person and treat them like they're the only person that's calling you for a coating. And like, I just feel like that goes a long way. And then you're laughing on the phone together. That the guy that picked up his car yesterday, him and his brother, that I just both met them in the morning to drop it off. Then they picked up, and like we were literally, when he picked it up and taking a look, we were like literally out there chatting for like 10 to 15 minutes, like literally laughing. They're telling me about their stories of getting in fist fights. And I'm like, I just met these guys. You know what I mean? So that goes a long way.
I think so too, for sure. Yeah, there's too many, like, exactly like you said, there's too many robots out there. And being human, it's like one of those, like, an intangible ROI. Like, you don't see it, the difference that it makes, but later on down the line, like, they might refer you somebody, they'll probably become like a, customer for life, maybe, like repeat business, whatever it is. Maybe they get another car in the future. So it does make a huge difference, for sure.
Also, yeah, and one quick thing too, I was telling you this the other day, because I am booked out right now. I'm booked out till like June, like the second week of June, so like 3 or 4 weeks. And this guy was like, oh, okay. So we found him a Saturday in June, and he was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll just get my car washed before then, because he wanted to get it done because it was dirty. And I'm like, dude, I forget his name. I think it was Carlos, maybe. I'm like, Carlos, like even that, calling someone by their name and just almost like a friend, as opposed to like Mr. and just very like robotic. But I was like, dude, Carlos, I got an idea. I literally was just talking like he's my friend. And I literally was like, dude, and he's in my area. He's in Newport. So I was like, Carlos, let me come to your house and wash your car, and I can meet you. You can meet me, and I can take a look at your car, and then we'll also book your June appointment right now. So he was like, oh, cool. Can you do my wife's? I'm like, yeah. So that turned into like a quick, because I charge $100 for a maintenance detail. So I booked him for this coming Thursday, him and his wife's car, $100 each. So I'm going to meet him. He's going to get to know me. I'm going to see the car. Then we booked his coating appointment for June. And then most likely I think he wants to get his wife's car done as well, I think. So that's not like a tactic or anything. I literally was like, dude, I still like, yeah, I do coding, but I still wash cars. Like that's a maintenance detail. So I literally, and he's like 5 minutes from the shop. I'm like, dude, let me, and so I think people get that reassurance too, like, oh, dude, yeah, this guy sounds really cool. He's gonna come wash it at my house. I can meet him, and that just gives him that more of like just a better warm feeling, like, then, oh, this guy's doing my car. He sounds super awesome. So anyways, I thought that was a cool.
Yeah, just like that human touch. Right?
I was proud of myself to come up with that. Yeah, and just that human touch. That like
yeah. Because it's kind of like you said, especially in Orange County, there's so many other detailers, right? Other mobile guys, shops, etc. Like the way you described it, if you go into a shop, it's like 4 or 5 cars in there. But for me, that's my whole focus for the entire day. Like I'm solely focused on your car, making it look amazing. And I think that's really what's pushing a lot of these people over the edge.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I get it. Don't get me wrong. Like I know if you can get someone's car in that day or the next day, and you're just another, which is, don't get me wrong, like maybe I'll get to that point. I don't know. But and even at that, you still want to treat them like a person, not like, yeah, man, bring your car, you're next. I'll tell you when to pick up. But yeah, I do tell people like, hey, man, I dedicate either my whole morning to your car, or if it's a big job, I tell them I dedicate my day to your car. Like I'm not greedy. $800 is a good day, and like I don't, if I can spend that day just for 6 hours doing a car, like that's an amazing day. So the fact that it's not just another car. Like, yeah, bring it in, the fact that, I'm going to take my time. It's me, and I still think you can relay that type of customer encounter or relationship. I still think you can do that, even though maybe you are a 4 to 5 car shop type of deal. I still think you can relay that personal touch to it. So,
yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, look, I know it's Mother's Day. This has been definitely a longer interview than I expected, so we can probably wrap it up here.
Yeah,
I
no
think
worries.
let's just keep growing. Once you get that new employee, just let me know as soon as you guys have more building the schedule. I can
Yeah,
ramp up the ad spend. We'll just keep going from here, and then maybe we'll do like a interview part 2, like a few months down the line. We'll see how much you can
for
grow your.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd be
that'd
excited
be
to see
awesome.
what happens. This is only
Uh,
May, summer's coming up, so hey, you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we can wrap up the interview here. So aside from like obviously the interview and stuff, do you have any feedback for me in terms of my service? Like anything else that I can do to improve the customer experience, improve the results? Because I'm always looking to improve my service, right?
Yeah, honestly, like I'm not, if I did have something like, oh yeah, there's this, but honestly, like, yeah, I literally don't have anything.
I appreciate it.
Like, it's literally all good.
That's awesome, man. Also, tactically, like next steps for the future too. If you are getting that booked out like 3, 4 weeks in advance, what you can do as well is, number one, obviously for book people that far out, maybe start taking some deposits, and then number two, like probably try raising your prices because if you're that packed, you don't have to move for the schedule. You could just start charging more, and yeah, you'll book less, but you'll make more per booking. So,
Yeah.
yeah, one thing that I'd really love for you to do, if you're available, obviously, is next time Nathan has a sales training session, probably either sometime this week or next week.
Yeah.
It'd be great if you can hop on, speak with him, because when he ran his detailing business, also doing what we're doing right now, he was charging a really high ticket, like at least 1,000, 1,500, 2K per coating. So if you can charge, a little bit higher and raise the prices, obviously that's more profit. It just makes the business better overall, especially for
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking about that when I was talking to you about like the 7-year thing, and just because that would be like in your at least 1,000 range. But yeah, no, I agree on that for sure.
If you check the most recent sales recording, or I think like the second one, session 2, Nathan does go over like his approach to deposits, his framework. If you check back at the ceramic coating booking script I sent you a while ago too, I did add a little section on like, how to collect the deposit over the phone, like kind of what to say to them as like an example. So you could try number 1, deposits. Number 2, start raising the prices. And
Yeah.
then number 3, yeah, definitely hire some help as soon as you can.
Yeah, I'm looking. So yeah, man. Cool.
I've never been to Orange County, like LA before. I've been to San Diego. I've never been to LA. So right now, I'm just gonna like lock in the next few months, work on the business, and I'm also going back to school to finish from the last year. But maybe next summer I'll pull up and like we can.
I was gonna say, dude, yeah, you gotta come out.
We'll go out for drinks on me.
Yeah. Coffee. I don't drink.
Oh, okay. Coffee then. Coffee then.
There you go.
Coffee, I don't know. Do you like Korean barbecue?
Oh yeah, dude. Heck yeah. There. So Irvine, California, which is probably like 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
It's like a big, like, it's known for like the Asian community. Like it's just, and there's areas where it's literally just like Asian markets, and it's like a high end, like these people are wealthy, but it's like, yeah, you have like Korean barbecue. We don't go a lot, but we went, I think a few years ago. Like there's some very popular ones that just, there's lines, but and it's just full of like Asian people. But yeah, man, like, yeah, dude, you need to come out here for sure.
I mean, but with the way your schedule's looking, you go to Korean barbecue every week, to be honest.
No, man. No, I keep it simple and like maybe for a treat or something. So hey, going to restaurants with a 5 and a 3-year-old, it's not the greatest. So
that makes sense. Yeah, just keep me updated on how the bookings are going. Like keep me updated, so that way I know how things are on your end. If there's anything else I can do to support you, and then yeah, let's just try to implement those things we talked about. So deposit, raising higher prices. Let's see if I can organize something with Nathan this week, and then yeah, whenever you're ready, we'll just turn up the ads. We'll keep going from there.
For sure, man.
$40 a day. We can scale to $100 a day, no problem.
Hey,
there's a lot of people in Orange County that are running ads. So
wow. Okay, cool. That's a goal.
Okay, cool. Let's do it, brother.
All right,
so, yeah, I'll shoot you a text after this regarding Nathan's availability. We'll see what works, and then we'll just keep in touch from there.
Perfect, man. I really appreciate it.
Okay, awesome, brother. Appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend, man.
Yeah, you too, bud.
All right, I'll talk soon. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye.